Welcome. Glad you're having such a good time already talking with each other. I'm Marva Barnett. I'm the founding director of the Teaching Resource Center. I'm delighted to see so many UVA faculty, graduate students here, as well as colleagues from institutions, colleges, and universities from around the state with us this morning. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Professor Maurie McInnis, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs here at UVA. Maurie is also an art historian who studies the ways images of slavery help to shape the political discussions about slavery. Very thoughtful about teaching as well, Maurie has twice received the Meade Honored Faculty Award, and we're delighted that she's here with us this morning. Maurie.
Good morning, and on behalf of the Provost, John Simon, I really want to thank all of you for being here. You know, the University of Virginia is such a remarkable teaching place, and we stand out in so many ways from so many of our peers. I'm sure many of you have friends and colleagues at other institutions who also are really committed to their teaching, but who have to kind of slink around and hold it as something of a guilty secret because they're not at a university. We're talking about excellence in teaching, and focusing on student learning outcomes is really part of the regular conversation. But look at you all. Here we are at the busiest time of the year. You know, we're all anxiously trying to get to the end of the semester, submit our grade, finish our grading, 8 million other things we have to do, and yet you're all committed to your teaching and to your students and taking an entire day out of this busy time of the year in order to come here and discuss what goes on in our classroom. So thank you to all of you. It's vitally important. Our topic today is obviously a timely one, to be talking about the role that technology should play in and out of our classrooms, how we can use it to enhance learning outcomes, our engagement with our students. I decided this morning I would just do a quick Google, or not a Google search, a search on the Chronicle, and I just typed in technology and classroom, and there were more than 4,000 stories returned. And that's just in the recent past. This is obviously a major part of the national conversation. We're very excited that the Teaching Resource Center is working to lead conversations among the faculty, to bring so many of you together for us to share with one another, to kind of steal hints and tips from one another. This is a space where it's perfectly fine to lift somebody else's good idea and use it in your classroom as well. This is such an important conversation for American higher education that we here and in the Provost's office decided that we really needed to have somebody to help lead us and to lead the faculty and coordinate the many efforts revolving around and spinning around the changing pedagogy in our classrooms. That we created a new vice provost position, and that is the Vice Provost of Educational Innovation and Interdisciplinary Studies. And so to round off our welcome this morning, I'd like to introduce Archie Holmes, who is the Vice Provost with that incredibly long title, to come up here and welcome you all as well. Thank you. We look forward to the conversations today.
So again, I want to say my thanks for you spending your day at this busy time of the year having this very important conversation. The Teaching Resource Center's theme for this year has been really timely in this area. It's been face-to-face education in the digital age. And if we look at what has happened here at the university over the past year, that's really aligned with what our goals are. So if we look at our strategic plan, the cornerstone plan, one of the really important things that I think that came out of that is the idea that we affirmed that we are a residential university. Right, that we believe very strongly in that bringing students to grounds and educating them here is important, okay? But we understand that just doing everything in the classroom face-to-face isn't the only thing that's going to be important going forward. Technology is going to play a very important role. We need to look at ways on how we can engage students in different ways in different educational experiences, and I think you're going to hear lots of different ways of doing that during this conference here. When I think about the way that my teaching has been influenced by the Teaching Resource Center, so I was very fortunate that when I first came here, I think one of the best things I did is I devoted that week that a lot of you have done as well and took the CDI. It really changed the way that I look at my teachings. For those of you who have done it, if you keep your syllabi like I do, if you go back and look at your syllabi when you first started teaching and you look at them now, you know, it's kind of embarrassing sometimes, the things that you thought your syllabus were supposed to convey what you thought was important. And it's really taught me a lot of things about what my role is. And so I want to leave you with a quote that I always think about and I always talk to my students about when I'm preparing my classroom and getting them ready for what I want to do. And it's from the former cognitive psychologist Herbert Simon. And the quote is, "Learning results from what the student does and thinks, and only from what the student does and thinks. The teacher can advance learning only by influencing what the student does to learn." That's our role. That's what technology allows us to be able to do. You will hear from some of our wonderful colleagues who are really pushing the envelope on being able to do this well. I hope you learn from them. I hope you build on what they've done, make it better, and then continue to improve the education that our students receive here. Thank you.